it became it's sunnah to even يعني read adhkar al-sabah, the morning adhkar, and the night adhkar, to seek protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the evil, from the jinn, and from all that. So we don't want to go into jinn and magic and stuff like that too much. But yet, going back to the Dajjal right now, how could Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the Dajjal the ability to do these things when we know that he is evil, and he really does not have these evil powers, or these super powers that, like miracles. Okay, we'll come to an explanation to each one of them, and we'll explain how يعني the Dajjal can have these يعني explain each one of them, of those يعني what might have been or seemed to be uh, like special powers of the Dajjal a long time ago. But nowadays, living in these days of technology and the ability to actually turn off water or electricity or whatever on each village, and that is very clear here in Palestine. I'm talking to you here in Palestine. Any city in Palestine that makes like demonstrations, or like throwing rocks or whatever, if they see that the city or village is doing too much problems, they could easily, just like they did in Gaza, turn off the water, turn off the electricity, besiege the area, and then prevent food and anything, or even if they have to pay money for it. I heard that to buy like uh, one vegetable, like one carrot or whatever, you have to pay 25 shekels. It's like about $10, or probably even more, or probably $10 or something like that, or even more. And some things, if you have to pay like one garlic clove or something like that, you have to pay $100. So this is and the amount of aid, humanitarian aid and food, is not taken for free. Even the Yahud, when they allow the trucks to come in, they are being sold to the people inside Gaza. So were they able to starve the people because they refused the international regime, let's say it this way, or the international, orders of surrendering to, Israel and the Yahud? Were they able to starve them? Yes. Were they able to uh, prevent the land from growing its crops systematically? Yes. Were they able to prevent people from getting benefit from the rain that is coming down so they can drink from it? Yes. So people did become thirsty. People did become starved to death. Uh, he was able to make them become poor, literally, with the bombs that they did. You're talking about multi-millionaires and millionaires in Gaza that used to live in villas and had a few companies and whatever, and controlled very many things, literally stand in line with the other people for a bowl of rice. So were they able to make them go broke and become poor, the rich to become poor? Yes. Okay, but was that possible a long time ago, to besiege an area like this and prevent people from the natural resources, water and planting and all that, like it is right now? A long time ago, it was not, because people even used to depend on the natural resources, on natural ways to get it. You know, I'll give you an example of Madinat al-Khalil, the city of al-Khalil, which they call Hebron, has nothing to do with Hebrew, but it's called Hebron, okay? It's al-Khalil, Khalil al-Rahman, where Sayyidina Ibrahim was buried there, according to one of the, hadith, and I don't, there is no hadith sahih for that, but it's just a saying that he's buried there, and some of the Anbiya are buried there. No hadith sahih for that. Yet again, it's the land of the prophets. They were buried somewhere, eventually. Uh, no hadith sahih for that, but it's the land of the prophets anyway. this city depends on water by making wells, and each home has a well of water. That's a habit in that city. Okay, every house has a well in its under يعني under it there's a well. They built a well. Okay, so that was considered a strong, a good advantage of Madinat al-Khalil. Now all of the cities in Palestine, they don't have that, and this is how. And as remember, when we're talking about a Dajjal, we're talking about the most place. Where does it happen? Where is he killed? Where does he come to build his kingdom? And where the Yahud are making this propaganda of rebuilding the kingdom of the Dajjal and building his temple and building all that. It's on wrecking down al-Masjid al-Aqsa and putting over it what they called the Temple Mount. Okay, so that's what they're trying to build right now, but yani trying to tear it down and to build it. Okay, before we go to that, we're gonna go to before we go to the Dajjal and then start talking about you know, going into the details of a Dajjal. We're gonna talk today. First thing today, we're on page. Oh, wait a second. Let me just share with you the book. Okay, where's the book? Just give me a second here. So you guys know where I'm at. Go to history. And there's the book. There it is. Okay. طيب. Well, yes, let's do the sharing right now. And where's the Zoom room? Here's the Zoom. There I am. And there's the sharing of the book. حاطين ثلاثة. طيب, today we're going to be talking about the smoke. Okay, one of the signs of the end of time, the big signs of end of time, is the smoke. Rabbi Sallallahu said, you know, that you will not find. And when we say the signs of end of time, does it mean the signs of end of time, the signs of resurrection, Yawm al-Qiyamah, which means those are the signs that means we are coming close to the end of time, which is the stars falling apart, falling on earth, the land becoming earthquakes and opening up, all the rivers and all the seas and all the water resources and everything, geographical features will turn into fire. Okay? Everything, everything will khalas. It's the end of everything. The land will break, the mountains will start to sway sideways, and everything becomes doomed, and the land becomes ready for Yawm al-Qiyam. This is what we mean. So when we say the smoke, when we say that from Ayyam was-Sa'a, which means the sign of the end of time, okay, we don't particularly mean that we're getting close. No, as-Sa'a means Yawm al-Qiyamah, signs of end of time. So Sa'a means end of time. When I say end of time, it means we're getting close to complete destruction of any life on earth. And khalas, we're going to stage 2, which is Yawm al-Qiyamah. Everything's gone. Everyone will die. Everything will die. Every living creature, viruses, animals, whatever, even the angels, everything will die. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after everything is totally dead, will call upon the whole universe and say, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. Okay, for who is the creation right now? It's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, just give me a second. Let me translate al-Qahhar here. Okay, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. Okay. So who owns the kingdom today? God, the one, the Almighty. Okay, so that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say. Khalas, nothing is alive. Even the angels will be khalas, they're gone. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the humans and the creatures to wake up again and starting of the judgment day. But the smoke, among the major signs which will happen just before the hour is the smoke. Then wait for the day when the sky will bring forth a visible smoke covering the people. This is a painful torment. Right. Over here, we have 3 ideas about the smoke. Okay? The ulama and the sahaba, when they explained to the tabi'een, okay, the sahaba are those that learned with the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, lived with him, learned from him, and ended their life with a good, being salihin and pious salihin and good sahaba. Okay, the tabi'een are the students of the sahaba that did not meet Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the prophet, but they got their informations and they learned, they took knowledge, seek informations and ilm from the sahaba. Okay, so somebody from the end of the world that didn't see the Sahaba and didn't see any of that, just because he lived after the Sahaba's time, time period, can we call him a Sahabi, a Tabi'i? No, we cannot call him a Tabi'i. Why? He has to take his education and ilm, has to be a Muslim, also practicing Islam and taking ilm from the Sahaba. This is what we call a tabi'i. Okay? Tabi'i, which means he's a follower of the Sahaba. Literal meaning is follower, which means follower of the Sahaba. But it has it's a definition, meaning those that learned from the Sahaba, and the Sahaba learned from Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But okay, there's 3 opinions about the smoke. The first opinion is the opinion of Ibn Mas'ud. Now, Ibn Mas'ud said, and also there's Ibn Mas'ud is a Sahabi. His name is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Okay? He said that this smoke had already happened, at that time, at the Prophet ﷺ's time, and it's already happened before. And saying, well, Nabi Sallallahu said, "Bu'ustu ana was-sa'a kahatayn." I was sent between me and the end of time, like these 2 fingers. So the dukhan, the smoke, already happened, referring to an incident that happened in the time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, that's one point of view. Another point of view saying that no, they are not referring to that incident that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was talking about that happened in the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's time. The word dukhan is referring to the smoke that is going to be happening close to the signs of end of time, and in the same time era of when the signs of end of time fall, like the beads of a masbaha or beads of a necklace or anything. As we said before in the other class, that when the big signs of end of time happen, like the liberation of Palestine, and then the Mahdi comes. If we see the Mahdi coming, then it's one after the other. Like if you have a necklace and you cut the beads you cut the string of that necklace, you will find the beads slipping one after the other. So it's all going to be happening in the time era of one human being. Okay? One human being. Okay? So when we're talking on Mahdi sitting 7-8 years on earth, okay, all of his jobs, whatever he's going to be doing, fully, of course, he's a fully grown man, but I'm saying what he's going to be doing and in action of the job Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned him to be doing, it's going to be 7 or 8 years, according to the hadith. Ad-Dajjal, the imposter, the Antichrist, is going to sit for only 40 days. Okay, but somebody might say, well, 40 days, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said 40 days. The first day is going to be like a year. Second day is going to be like a month. Third day is going to be like a week. And fourth day is going to be like the rest of your days till the end of the 40 days. Yeah, but it's talking about the amount of incidents happening in that day. It's like a whole year has passed. That's what it's referring to. But is the earth going to be happening is the sun going to stay in the middle of the sky for a long time and not moving? Well, that's not what's going to happen. Okay? That's not what's going to happen. It's talking about the amount of, breaking news, something happened, this happened, he went there, he went here, all that. He's doing this and everything like that. And the chaos it's going to be making. The first day is going to be like a year. The amount of horror that the Muslimin, because, every Nabi, every prophet has warned, his nation from the fitna, the tribulation of a Dajjal. Okay, so it's going to be something scary for them. Everyone's fearing for their children, take them to protect their families, because we know that most of the people that'll be following the Dajjal and his fitna, his tribulations, which is music, is going to be, and mazamir, which is musical instruments and songs and stuff like that. And most ones following them were like kids and teenagers and stuff like that. Sufahat, which means the silly, small-minded people with no aims, and safih, somebody that is tafeh, which is with silly and worthless. Sufaha and the nisa and the women. Okay. So those are the ones that are going to be following at Dajjal. Now, we were talking about the time era. Now, the time era is going to be like a time era of one human being. 7, 8 years for Mahdi, 40 days for Dajjal, and then Sidna Isa at the end of the time era of the Dajjal will come to do his job of killing the Dajjal. And then after that, by the time Sayyidina Isa has already killed the Dajjal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call upon Sayyidina Isa and tell him, take the mu'mineen with you and go to the mountain of Tur, because I have sent a nation that no one can defeat them, which is Ya'juj and Ma'juj. How long will they stay? Allahu A'lam. But so we're talking about really big signs over here, one after the other. And it says Sayyidina Isa will stay until 40, which means ulama made a difference of opinion. Is he going to stay until he becomes 40? Because he will come down in the age of 33. That means 70 years. Or is he going to rule for 40 years? Yeah, and 33 plus 40, which is 73 going to be, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But most of the ulama will tell you, it's till 40, till he becomes 40. And Allahu A'lam what it means, until he said until 40. Okay? We're going to respect that there's a difference between ulama, and there's no indicator of which one is the right one. They're both sahih. And it said, the hadith actually said 40, but it didn't say year, or till he becomes 40. It said he will rule 40. So it just stayed blank like there, and then till if we, Allahu A'lam what the meaning of that is. Right. So going back to ad-dukhan, one of them said, Abdullah Mas'ud said that already happened in the time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Second one said, oh no, we are referring to the dukhan that is going to be happening when when the big signs start happening, and they all fall one after they slip one after the other, like those beads in a necklace. There's a real smoke at that time, because we can't. I mean, the smoke. Not every smoke happening, we're gonna call it, oh, that's a sign of end of time. No, it's gonna be a really big thing to be mentioned. That Rasul actually mentions it. I mean, how many volcanoes have we seen? Like the Iceland volcano that actually made a volcano that erupted in Iceland a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but it really affected the air all over the world, where it became yellow because of, that eruption of that volcano. So could we call that the dukhan? No. That dukhan will happen in the time of those end of time signs. Now, some ulama said there will be a few dukhans. One of them is that dukhan smokes, and one of them is going to be a dukhan at the end of time, and that's what they said. Okay, so let's see what Ibn Mas'ud said here. The truly indicated that the smoke is one of the major signs in hadith narrated by Muslim from Hudayfa ibn Usayd al-Ghifari, who said the Prophet at us whilst we were discussing something, he said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Who wants to read this?" Let's see who we have here. Okay. Sister Al-Haniti. Hunaiti.
Yep.
Sister, we want to read. Are you Hunaiti Arabi?
My husband is. Yeah,
Oh.
but I'm American.
Okay, Hunaiti. I think from southern Jordan, right?
From Amman, yeah, the area of Amman.
Oh, Amman or Oman?
The capital.
Okay, so it's Amman. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
I'm American.
Yeah,
So,
that's a very big
family.
Yeah, it is a very big family, very popular too.
Yeah,
Okay.
mashallah.
Allah yahfadhum ya Rabbi. Okay, want to read this? The
Starting
Prophet looked at us whilst we were discussing. Over here, let's read the hadith. Let's do a little bit of interaction together.
Okay, sounds good. This I have to take my kids swimming class, so it'll be like maybe 10 minutes. I have to just mute myself.
That's fine, sister.
This clearly indicates that the smoke is one of the major signs in the hadith narrated by Muslim from
Help me
out with that if you can.
Help you with that.
Who said the Prophet ﷺ looked at us whilst we were discussing something. He said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "We are talking about the hour." He said, "It will not come until you see 10 signs ahead of it." He mentioned the smoke, the Dajjal, the beast, the rising of the sun from the west, the descendant of Isa ibn Maryam, Yajuj and Majuj, Magog, and 3 landslides, one in the east, one in the west, one in the Arabian Peninsula, and the last sign is the fire which will emerge from Yemen and drive the people to their place of gathering.
So over here is, are they put in the right order? No, they're not put in the right order, because sometimes you'll find one before the other. You'll find another hadith saying the same thing, but also having one before the other. Okay, so this is reminding us that the smoke is one of the major signs. Okay, so it could not have been the one that was Ibn Mas'ud was referring to. Let's see here. Ibn Mas'ud said, thought that sign has already come and gone. Muslim narrated in the Sahih, which is a Sahih is a book. Okay, Muslim is a writer. Okay, it's not a normal Muslim like me and you. Of course, he's normal, but what I'm saying is his name is Imam Muslim. He actually comes from Khurasan. Okay, Imam Muslim said in his Sahih, he has a book called Sahih Muslim, only narrates in it the authentic ahadith, okay, which has very strong chain, okay, which means scholar heard from another scholar, from another scholar, from another scholar that had thousands of students. They've heard this hadith and they even documented this hadith and then they wrote it in books. So every hadith saying of a Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he has it documented, memorized, and he also made sure that whatever he has documented, he wrote it, he read it in front of his teacher that taught him this hadith to make sure what he has documented was actually copy paste of what he has learned. Okay, so when we say Sahih, we don't mean that hey, I heard something and let's see what he heard. I think I heard of this, so I'll just write it, whatever. No, it wasn't like that. It's making sure, even the word, the word, and they used to call and as a word. Now in Arabic, it's wa, it's harf, but even wa, which means and, was also considered difference of riwayah, difference of narration. Okay, so Ibn Mas'ud said, this sign has already happened and gone. Okay, why? Imam Muslim narrated in his book called the Sahih Muslim that Masruq, also a tabi'i, said, we were sitting with Abdullah and he was reclining between us. A man came to him and said, oh, ya Abu Abdul Rahman, there's a storyteller at the gates of Kinda and he's claiming that the sign of smoke will come and will take the souls of the kuffar. but it will only make the believers sneeze. Okay, so the affection of this smoke is it will make it will be like a flu for the mu'mineen. Yet we've heard about a smoke, a breeze taking at the end of time. We're talking about the end of time, after we finish everything. All those major signs happen. And Allah, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the stars to fall and the land to open and the oceans to turn into fire, before all of that, everyone that has even a small atom of Allah in his heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or in his heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send a very soft breeze that will take the souls of the mu'mineen and will order Yawm al-Qiyamah and all the horrors of Yawm al-Qiyamah to happen over in front of those that used to say, I do not believe unless I see. Those atheists that say, well, if I don't see it, if I don't touch it, if I can't have that, then it doesn't exist. Allah will tell them, left you for the end of time, for you to see and for you to touch it, for you to feel. And they are left there for those that Yawm al-Qiyamah will not happen on mushrikeen, those that take partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. Allah has left the atheists for the end of time, those that don't believe unless they see, for them to see. So the punishment comes equivalent, with the sin. Okay? Let's go over here. Let's see. So over here we said that small breeze will come head up, but that small breeze is something, and this smoke is something else. Now we're talking about a smoke that will come and take the souls of the kuffar, but it will only make the believers, the mu'mineen, sneeze. Abdullah said angrily and said, "O people, fear Allah, taqullah. Whoever among you knows something, let him say what he knows. And whoever does not know, let him say Allah knows best. It is a sign of knowledge for any one of you to say when he does not know, Allah knows best." Okay, now he's telling us what to do. If we don't know, not to give ilm when we do not know. And then he recited the ayah. Okay, when the Messenger of Allah said people, saw the people ignoring him, he said, "Oh Allah, 7 years like the year." Okay, let's say the incident that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, this is the dukhan, this is the smoke that he was referring to. Okay, this is a story. What happened is, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw that the Muslimin they were ignoring the signs, or a little bit of lack of action, or tatbiq, or he saw that they were ignoring and they were into dunya too much. Okay, he said, "Oh Allah, 7 years like the years of Yusuf." Okay, which is so they were overtaken by a famine which destroyed everything until they were forced to eat skins and dead animals because of their hunger. One of them would look to the sky and see something that looked like smoke. Abu Sufyan came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what happened was Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was really angry, and then and this is what happened. He made dua upon them, and then Abu Sufyan came to him and said, "Ya Rasulullah, Ya Muhammad, you have come in joining, you came for mercy on people in upholding of the ties of the kinship. Your people have been destroyed, so pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them." And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed this thing. So the ayah says here, then wait for the day when the sky will bring forth a visible smoke covering the people. This is a painful torment. Okay? "Oh Lord, remove the torment from us." It says remove, okay? Remember that in the present. Really we shall become believers. How can there be from them an admonition at the time when the torment has reached them, when a messenger explaining things clearly has already come to them? Then they had turned away from him, the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and said, "He is one taught by a human being, a madman. Verily we shall remove the torment for a while." So over here it says, "Verily we shall remove the torment for a while," which is the punishment. Yawm al-Qiyamah. If now Ibn Mas'ud said, oh, this already happened, because when he says, verily we shall remove the torment, that the torment will be removed. Oh, that's talking about the time of Badr, the battle that happened in Badr, because there's a removing of torment. While Yawm al-Qiyamah, there will be no removing. Halas, it's just one after the other until the big thing happens. Okay, so he's saying it already happened. It's referring to the incident that happened, which is this incident, and he prayed upon he prayed to Allah subhanahu about them, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed the punishment. Okay, now that's the opinion of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and he's not the only one. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, Ibn Mas'ud thought that the sign had already appeared and gone, and he quoted as evidence for that the fact that the punishment which will befall the kafirin, on the kafirin, in the hereafter will not be lifted from them. Okay, there it goes. Where the ayah state of Allah will lift the torment from them for a little while. Okay, so here's the difference here. Okay, Yawm al-Qiyamah, it won't be lifted, while the ayah says it will be lifted. Okay, so it's talking about a different dukhan, different smoke than referring to them. Now, some ulama say, well, it's two dukhans or a few. That dukhan that happened was one of them, but the dukhan in the hadith is referring to the one of Yawm al-Qiyamah, so this is a different one. Okay, so that's Ibn Kathir said. What did Ibn Kathir say? Ibn Kathir said, وين راحت Ibn Kathir? Okay, let's read another one here. طيب زبير ابن جرير، وين ابن جرير راحت؟ Okay, Ibn Mas'ud يرى أنها قبضة منقضت, it had happened. Ibn Kathir said it did not come yet. Now Ibn Kathir said that it did not come yet, and okay, let's read this one. Ibn Kathir said that the view that the smoke had not yet come was the view of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Ibn Abbas. Let me read them in Arabic here, it's easier for me. Where'd it go? Okay, Ibn Kathir said it was the opinion of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, all of those are Sahaba, Ibn Abbas, Hassan Basri, also from the Tabi'een. And Ibn Kathir had a few points to say that this is not the dukhan referring to. That Ibn Mas'ud was, that's not the right fatwa for Ibn Mas'ud. And they said, no, the real smoke is going to be happening at the end of time. And the smoke that he was referring to was not the smoke that he was that was Ibn Mas'ud was talking about. Okay, one of the dalils, or one of the proofs that the Sahih and Hasan ahadith narrated on this topic indicated that the sign has not yet come to pass. The ayah فارتقب يوم تأتي الدخان يوم تأتي السماء بدخان مبين أي بين واضح يراه كل أحد وليس خيرا كما ذهب إليه مسعود. Okay, what's over here says يوم تأتي السماء بدخان مبين, the sky will bring forth a visible smoke. So it's something that بدخان مبين, it's something that is going to be obvious and visible for everyone to see, not meaning that there will be a punishment and everything, which means, it means a real smoke that will be coming, not a punishment that is waving upon the ummah where they cannot eat and cannot drink and the starvation happens and everything. No, it's telling us it's a visible smoke that you can see and you can see with your own eyes. Okay, that's another dalil, another proof. The third one is, so if it was imaginary, referring only to the mushrik inhabitants of Mecca, Allah would not have said covering the people. طيب. And Nawawi said, يغشى الناس. Okay, Imam Nawawi said that this hadith, this smoke will take the people, according to the hadith, like the mu'mineen, like Zukam. Where's Zukam here? Where'd it go? Okay. Souls of the kafir, whilst it will merely make the believers sneeze, and it has not happened yet, it will appear shortly before the hours of time or the end of time. طيب. And the third opinion about the smoke, so about the smoke, that it is possible that there are two smokes in order to reconcile between those two reports or these two narrations of what the Sahaba has already understood. So there's a difference of opinion between the Sahaba already between of those, but we know that when you are putting a sign between the end of signs, which is the Dajjal, which is the Dajjal, and we also have a hadith saying that they're going to be falling like beads. When we say the dukhan, the smoke, and then we say the beast, and then we say these, and putting them next to each other, that is not referring to the minor signs. It is referring to the major signs. And as we all know, the major signs come one after the other. So it's clearly, I go with the second opinion, that it is referring to the major sign of Yawm al-Qiyamah, okay, according to the description of the signs of the major signs of end of time, and also yani referring to the smoke as being one of the major ones, and then giving the description that they're going to be one after the other, that there's no time era between them, it's one after the other immediately, then we would say that the second opinion of that the smoke will be coming and taking the souls of the kuffar. Okay, what is this dukhan? Could it be like a nuclear weapon or something? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves the mu'mineen? Or could it be something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know, Allahu a'lam. And we have seen, if you go back to stories from places of jihad when the mujahideen were fighting in Afghanistan, we have seen, I have read stories of mujahideen actually, the bombs would make holes around the area which they were bombed, and they would stand up running and walking, and nothing has hurt them. So is there something called miracles or karamat that are happening for salihin, for pious people? Yeah, there is salihin. We as mu'mineen, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we as Muslimin, we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might choose mu'mineen and save them from, and protect them from certain tests and from certain, situations where they're protected. And we can see that also in different places of life where people in the middle of a car accident, how it happens that they crash into each other, and you see this human being in the middle. He moves a little bit like this, and he's not touched or harmed, just a little bit. This is the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Khalas. And we've seen other things of how some they would take people out of the rubble for 8 days or 10 days under the rubble in Gaza, and they wake up, they're still alive. We've seen these in times. Okay, and as Muslimin, we don't have to see it in your face, but we believe that there is something called that there might be a karama, which is like a miracle. A miracle is for anbiya, but it's like a miracle or a karama as a glad tiding or a protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for some of the mu'mineen that have a special like status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So could it be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send smoke that will, for a certain battle or something like that, in a certain place or something that everyone can see, and then the mu'mineen, it doesn't hurt them, but it really takes the arwah al-kafirin, the souls of the kafirin? How will it happen? Could it be, something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that comes, or could it be something that has been thrown on us, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects the mu'mineen at that time? We do not know. We do not know. Allahu a'lam. But we know that something, and the thing is, when it happens, everyone will listen, will hear about it, and will know about it. It will become obvious for everyone. This is why it's a sign. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sign is meant to be clear and obvious for everyone to see, but it's not a sign to be hidden. Okay? It's not a sign to be hidden. It'll be obvious for everyone to see, and there'll be an argument for them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell them that I have sent signs, I have told you this is going to happen, and it's going to happen, but you did not believe until all the signs had happened, and then the sun came from the west, and then it was too late for anyone to make repentance at that time. Okay. Now we're going to the fitna of al-Dajjal. We finished the smoke, and that's the only thing we know about the smoke. It will take souls of the kafirin, some of the kafirin, not all of them, and it won't happen on all of earth. Okay, where is it going to happen? We don't know. Is it a certain place? Is it all on earth or all over? You know, is it a certain incident on a war where everyone will see, and then we see the sign happening? Allahu a'lam what's going to happen. Details, we don't have any details. We know it takes the kafirin, and it's like a flu for the mu'mineen. But now we're going to be talking about the tribulation and the fitna of ad-Dajjal. Antichrist, you can call him imposter. His tribulation. Okay, every Nabi, we know that every Nabi throughout history has warned its nation from ad-Dajjal. Okay? ما من نبي إلا وأنذر قومه الدجال. Okay. صحيح مسلم عن أبي الدهماء عن قتادة قالوا كنا. Now, the tribulation of the Dajjal will happen at the end of time. It is one of the major signs of the hour. His fitna will be one of the greatest tribulations in human history. In Muslim, يعني Sahih Muslim, a book called Sahih Muslim, narrated by Imam Muslim. He was not Arabi, he was not an Arab, he was from Khurasan. It is narrated that Abu Dahma and Abu Qatada said, we used to pass by Hisham ibn Amr on our way to Imran ibn Husayn. One day he said, you pass by me to go to other men who did not spend more time with the Messenger of Allah than I did, and who are not more knowledgeable about this hadith than I am. So he told them, I have a hadith to give you that no one has heard it as much as I have heard it, and no one has asked questions more than I have. I heard the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, between the creation of Adam and the oneness of the hour, the onset of the hour, Adam, hour, okay? There will not be any creation, okay, greater than the Dajjal, okay? According to another report, yani there will not be any fitna greater than the Dajjal. Why so? You can see how much the propaganda of the West is working on getting the new generations used to something called the one eye and worshiping the one eye. And also, not only that, even if it doesn't make sense, they are actually going to be blackmailing and forcing people by their water, their food, everything, and forcing people to follow the Dajjal. This is why he has rivers of water, lots of food, lots of everything. This is why he has all of that. Okay? So this is how the fitna is. Long time ago, when some of the Sahaba were like, oh, there's a fitna, they would go run off to a different place. They would go for the Jibal, the mountains. But right now, where is there a mountain where there's no people on it? We're talking about Palestine right now. You can't run to the mountains. You got checkpoints everywhere in Palestine. You got checkpoints everywhere. You're blocked in a certain area, and if you want to get out there, you got to be checked by the Yahud, by the Yahud. And I said most of the incidents. Okay, the Dajjal will be going to every city and collecting followers everywhere and everything like that to come to Al-Quds, to Palestine, to build the temple. Let's see how the temple that they want to build for the Dajjal looks like. Okay. Temple Mount, it's called Temple. Write it in English. Sorry about that. English. Okay, let's see. Temple Mount. Okay, let's see how it looks like that they want to build it. Not this one. Let's go to pictures here. Images. Okay. Temple. Okay, now they're putting the Masjid al-Aqsa here. I actually want, okay. They call the Temple Mount Masjid al-Aqsa, but they're calling, I don't want the Masjid al-Aqsa. I want them, they call it the Temple Mount in order to get people ready for that. Habibi, انزل شوي. Okay, I'm talking about their temple that they want to build. Okay, the temple. Okay. Temple of Solomon. Solomon. Let's see. There. Okay, this is a temple that they're going to be building, or yani, they're not going to be building, sorry about that. This is the temple that they are making a propaganda that they want to build for the Dajjal. And they say that in order to build it for the Dajjal, we got to get rid of all the Muslimin and make all those wars and then, get ready for him to come. And they actually have seen them, doing with the Muslim bodies in Gaza, doing black magic and rituals, preparing, and also the beheading of the babies and killing the babies and all of that, getting ready to build their temple, okay, for the Dajjal. Okay, this is the temple that they're getting for, and this is actually the throne of the Dajjal that they're going to be, yani, where they're planning on building in the future. So are they going to succeed? Well, it's going to only be 40 days. You can't build a temple in 40 days when the Dajjal comes, So for sure, Sidna Isa will be coming and the Muslimin will be praying. And then khalas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will demolish his plans and everything. And then khalas, he will come with 70,000 of the Jews from Asfahan, which is Iran. And he will not succeed in doing what he wants to do with all of the Kafirin and all of the Yahud and all of the Zionists and all whatever you want to call them. They come with so many flags and so many names and so many descriptions, but the end of thing is they want to build this temple for this Dajjal to rule the land with this new world order thing and to make everyone as slaves, like they claim that we are going to be their slaves and all of the Arabs are going to be slaves for those يعني Yahud and for those يعني followers of the Dajjal. طيب, okay, Dajjal, all of the prophets warned about the Dajjal. ثم ذكر قال إني أنذركم. طيب, the narrator Allah stood upon people and praised Allah as he deserves to be praised. Then he mentioned the Dajjal and said, I warn you about him. There's no prophet who did not warn his people about him. But I will tell you something about him which no prophet has ever told his people. He is not one-eyed, and Allah is not one-eyed. So, description of Dajjal, he is one-eyed. One of them is poked, and the other one is tafia. Tafia means that it's kind of swollen to the outside. Okay, so he has a problem in two of his eyes. One of them is poked that he can't see from it, and the other one is like going out, but he can see from it, but it's not like a normal eye. You can obviously see that there's something wrong with his eye. Tafia. And when we say the word tafia, it's like putting a balloon or a ball inside of a bucket of water, and then you see it rising. Okay, so it is clearly not its position, it's rising on the outside, it's popping out from his eye. He can see from it, but it's not normal like any normal human being. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a description, and we can see that the Illuminati and the Dajjal, they have this rectangle here, and I think maybe everyone knows about those. Does anyone not know about these? I think they're so obvious, everyone knows it. It became so clear about all of those yani signs of the Dajjal and what they're trying to bring, the propaganda of the Dajjal. Does anyone want me to do a search and show them about those things? What do you guys think? I think everyone knows about, the $1 bill, all those movies that they make, getting the new generations ready for somebody that is lost in the jungle, and there he is. There's telling people to worship him, and people worshiping and bowing to a Dajjal. Okay? We've seen it everywhere. In Palestine right now, we have something called Eid al-Anwar, which is the Yahud have a holiday called Aswar al-Quds. It's called Eid al-Anwar. Okay, Aswar. Just a second here. Okay, Aswar. Just a second here. Aswar. Just a second here. Aswar al-Quds. Eid al-Anwar. There. You can see here. Let me see here. Just a second here. There we go. Going down here and showing all of those doing. Okay. Just a second here. Okay. Okay. Just a second here. Okay. Where'd it go? Okay, I'm not finding it. Must have been removed from YouTube. Al-Yahudi. Okay. Just a second here. Ila'at. Sur al-Quds. Okay. We want to thank YouTube for removing all the videos that we want to talk about. What is going on here? Okay. Okay, I'm not finding the video, which I have showed recently to other people. I don't know where it went. Anyway, okay, let's go here. Fitna Dajjal, A'zam Fitna, we talked about that. Both Bukhari and Muslim narrated Anas that he said, the Prophet said, no prophet has ever sent, but warned his nation about the Dajjal. He's a one-eyed liar. He is one-eyed, but your Lord is not one-eyed. And between his eyes is written kafir. Every mu'min will read it. Now, or kafara. Okay, kafara. The question is it with letters? Or is it indicating clearly that he's a kafir by a sign, like a cross or whatever, or a one-eyed, that is referring to Illuminati or whatever? Is it one of those? It could be kafara, which means kafara, Arabic letters, or it could actually be a sign of kufr on his forehead, like a tattoo or something, but it will be clear for every mu'min will see it. Why every mu'min? Because this sign will be, because the mu'mineen will indicate and know that this indicates to kufr. Okay? The mu'mineen are the ones that know that this sign means kufr, while the other ones are just like open-minded people, consider it's okay. It's just nothing. It's just a holiday. The kids could be knocking on doors, trick or treat, and doing whatever. Don't make it a big deal. Let them enjoy. They're living into a community. Let them blend in and let them live their life and everything. It's really It's really yani very simple and very yani innocent. So don't bring your ideas here to. You're actually, some people will be telling you, well, if you're just telling the kids that this is a kafir holiday and this is haram to do this, and it's actually referring to holidays of satanic rituals and everything like that, then you're actually opening the eyes of children for nothing. We don't need to do that. Why don't we just let them do what they want to do and everything like that, and take it, innocently, and live the way they are. Okay? Then how did we, as mu'mineen, if we blend it in with the rituals of the kafirin, of something clearly to be a ritual of a kafirin, and we know the story of Halloween, what it is, you know, if we blend in and we accept it, what makes us mu'mineen? Because as mu'mineen, we know it's haram to do so. If we make the halal to become haram, and we consider the haram to become halal, then it's even a bigger sin by doing the haram and considering it halal. This is why the ayah, the hadith said, every mu'min that sees it says kafara. It means kafara. But for those that are open-minded and accepting everything and blending in and not actually preserving their iman and faith and walking on the footsteps of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and actually putting on the scale everything that they see. If it weighs in the scale of Iman, I take it. If it falls and it isn't from the scale of Iman and from the scale of Al-Kitab wa Sunnah, that I leave it and put it aside. It's from the rituals of Kafirin. If I am those, I'm a mu'min. But if I don't even look and bother, then I'm just one of those. Then I'm not considered from the mu'mineen. Then clearly, when the real fitna of the Dajjal comes, we'll say it's just a movie. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a sign that people used to see on movies. Don't make a big deal about it. Like right now, there's people that have, they make video clips and movies and stuff like that have rituals and sign of satanic beliefs and satanic rituals and everything. Don't make a big deal about it. It's just, action and, people enjoying their time and just, music. It's entertainment and everything like that. Changing the words of haram, kufr, satanic rituals, all of that into entertainment and adi, and just let it go and don't be too much strict, go up into time, people change and everything like that, and blending in. You are letting go of your deen. You are letting go of your insignificance as a mu'min. So clearly, when the real fitna of the Dajjal, and you see the word kafara, if we don't deny the haram we see around us in video clips and movies and all that, and everything we see around us that is haram, how are we, when we see the Dajjal with the signs of the kufr on him, going to deny it? Because literally everything what's happening in front of us is actually paving the way for the Dajjal to come. And they know so. And they know so that they are paving the way for the Dajjal to come. Because the Yahud themselves, they believe that the Christ is coming. And the Christians. But they've changed the Torah and they've changed the Hada. And so they have the descriptions of the Isa alayhi salam that is coming, or the Christ that is coming. Actually, they are promoting for the Dajjal that is coming. That's why because when it was changed, it wasn't changed by mu'mineen, the Torah. It was changed by kuffar. It was changed by those that were led by the devil to change the Torah. Okay? This is why they changed the descriptions of Isa alayhi salam that is going to be coming at the end of time and put instead of it a Dajjal, leading all of the people to follow the Dajjal instead. And this is the punishment of Israel, when they used to hide some words and leave some words. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, don't eat this, and they would change it. Don't hunt at this day and go catch fish at this day, they would go and eat it instead. Okay? So when we are watching all of that, when we are putting in consideration the halal and haram in nowadays, then when the real fitna comes, oh, we've already been trained all these years. What's halal is halal, what's haram is haram. Okay? We didn't get accustomed to all of this halal. So when the Dajjal comes, you know, all of this fitna that is coming, that we're seeing, the tribulations that we're seeing around us, is not for nothing. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is getting us ready for what is yet to come. Okay, let's see what the other hadith say here. So, السر في تسميته الدجال, the secret. Okay, let's read the last hadith before they read this one. There's another hadith over here. Who wants to read this hadith for us? The reason, where'd it go? No, not this one. في Sunan ibn Majah, where is it? In Sunan ibn Majah. Who wants to read this one? Let's see who we are. Rihab, you want to read with us? Are you with us, Rihab?
Assalamu alaikum, Ustadha. Yes, I'm here.
How are you doing, Ukhti?
Alhamdulillah. Rabbil
Okay,
alhamd.
you want to read what Ibn Majah? Okay, Sunan Ibn Majah. Who's Ibn Majah? He's one of the writers of the 9 books of hadith. There are 9. Are they the only ones? No, there are more than that. But there are 9 major books of hadith, and Ibn Majah, okay, is one of those that wrote this book. And we have another one called Sahih ibn Khuzaymah. Ibn Khuzaymah also has a book called the Sahih of Ibn Khuzaymah. All right? Ibn Khuzaymah also wrote another book. We have a word called al-Mustadrak al-Hakim, also a book of hadith. But this book, Ibn Majah, is one of the 9 books. Okay? Al-Mustadrak al-Hakim. Okay, let's continue to the hadith on Abi Umama that the Prophet ﷺ said. That's the last line.
Okay. From Abu Umama that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said,
All the way down.
O people, there has never been any tribulation on the face of the earth since Allah created mankind, greater than the tribulation of the Dajjal. Allah has never sent any prophet, but He warned His nation about the Dajjal. I am the last of the prophets, and you are the last of the nations. He will undoubtedly emerge amongst you.
He will undoubtedly emerge amongst you. Right. The reason he was called al-Masih. Okay, the word Masih means, Masih in Arabic means white. Okay? Well, how many things do we have wiped in him? First of all, one of his eyes is wiped. Next thing is that he wipes the haqq with the batil, that he flips the haqq, the righteous, and the haqq with the batil, the wrong. Okay, flips right into wrong, flips haqq into batil, flips, you know, he flips everything. Okay, like right now, if we watch the news, we can see how, you know, how this language of flipping the right into wrong is like. Politicians are the best dajjals, you know, but I'm not referring that politicians are the dajjal here. Now, some people will come up and tell you, oh, there's no such thing as the dajjal. The dajjal actually means that we will come into a position of time at the end of time where people will be flipping the right to wrong, and the right one of the eyes being wiped that he can't see it from it, is referring to that people will not be able to see the truth and stuff like that. So they're actually referring to that there is no physically a human being that will come out and make this fitna of tribulation, that he will not be going from for 40 days from one city to another collecting followers. No, this is not true, because the hadith is sahih, and the reality of the Dajjal that he is going to be coming in person is there. It is not referring to our tribulation that is coming, that is referring to yani mentally there's going to be something called a Dajjal, which is the media, for example. No. It's not the media. It's not. The media is one of the tools that the Dajjal will be using, or the media is getting the people ready for the Dajjal and the fitna of the Dajjal, and is actually spreading all this fitna and all this tribulation and all this corruption and all these, getting all the generations ready for all this mess that is going to be coming. Yes, it is one of the tools. Music, as you can see right now, you know, all of the worthless people are on TikTok, and whoever goes lower will get more followers, you know, and all of that. And we can see that all of that is going to be from the weapons and tools of the Dajjal. He will be collecting followers with those. Okay? Dajjal, okay. The reason why it's called al-Masih, because one of his eyes is wiped. لا عين له ولا حاجب. Okay, it doesn't have an eye there. يعني there's no eye. Okay. طيب. يغطي الحق بباطله. He covers the haqq with the batil, and you know, and that's why he was called al-Masih. Okay. طيب. And there's also another word called al-Masih with a kha, from the word maskh, which means that he was yani a punishment came and changed his appearance by wiping off one of his eyes that he cannot see. Okay, because he has a physical, yani you can see an obvious problem with his eye, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a masakh with his eye, and that his actions and his fitna and everything was masakh, that he was not a normal. He's a normal human being, and if we can see him, he walks and eats and everything like that. But I'm saying is that he is not a pious person, so he was called al-Masih, from masakh, his eye. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed one of his eyes, or had one of his eyes being white and he can't see it, and one of his eye floating out and coming out. So we have the name Masih Dajjal or Masih al-Dajjal. طيب. حال المسلمين في العصر الذي يخرج فيه الدجال. What is the situation of the Muslimin when the time of a Dajjal comes? Let's see how the situation of the Muslimin at that time. Now, before the emergence of the Dajjal, we can see that Imam Mahdi is there. He's leading all the Muslimin, and he's getting all these victories, and the Muslimin are feeling wonderful because they're taking their place between the Ummah, and it's not time for the Muslimin to feel weak anymore. Khalas, everyone is happy. The Palestine has come back in the hands of the Muslimin. People are happy they're coming victory for the Muslimin, and their, you know, their self-esteem is really high of what's happening. The Muslims will have a status of great power. It seems like his emergence will be. Now, what happens is, now the Muslimin will be going out to Europe, okay, and taking Constantinople, okay? They will go there to take it and then to open it back again in the hands of the Muslimin. It will be controlled by the Kafirin, controlled. It won't be a military control, but it will be controlled by the Kafirin for a certain time. And then they will say, Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, the Muslimin. And they will keep on saying, Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. It will fall again in the hands of the Muslimin and will be taken back. And once they want to go to Europe and open Europe again, or open Europe, and then a very big scream comes that the Dajjal has come, and then they go back. Let's read here what it says here. So the big emergence of the Dajjal was actually to hit this power of the Muslimin that is going there to open Europe and to yani to shut this big force of the Kafirin wanting to wipe out the Muslim nation. Right. It seems that his emergence will be the purpose of putting the end of the power, putting an end to that power of the Muslimin. At that time, there will be a peace treaty between the Muslims and the Romans. They will attack a common enemy and defeat them. Okay, so let's see what's the biggest reason. So there will be an enemy from behind us. Okay, he'll become this enemy will be from the east. Is it North Korea? Is it China? Allahu Akbar. We don't know what it is. Okay, but there will be an enemy that will want to attack and make a threat on all of the world, which is the East and the West, which is the Middle East and the West, and they will fight together and they will defeat this enemy that is coming from the East. And then one of them, okay, then the war will break out between the Muslims and the Crusaders. Why? Okay, they will attack a common enemy and defeat them. Then war will break out between the Muslims and the Crusaders. In Sahih, Abu Dawud said is narrated that that the Makhbar said, I heard Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you will make a peace treaty with the Romans, and and they will attack a common enemy. Rehab, you want to continue?
Yes.
Yalla, you will make a peace treaty. This is actually a long hadith, but it tells us the whole story about this hadith. There's another hadith after it. Want to read it, Ukhti?
Yes.
Yalla, Ummi.
You will make a peace treaty with the Romans, and you and they will attack a common enemy. You will be victorious and will take booty. Then you will return safely until you camp in Marj the Talul. Then one of the Christians will raise the cross and say, the cross has attained victory. One of the Muslims will become angry and will break it, the cross. At that point, the Romans will break the treaty and start preparing for their great battle. Some added, the Muslims will run for their weapons and they will fight. And Allah will honor that group with martyrdom.
Okay, so the thing is, there's a war there will be Muslims and Romans will fight an enemy from the east. Could be North Korea, could be China, whatever. There's something happening in the east, they will fight them because there will be a threat on the both Middle East and on the West. Now, one of the people of the West will start saying, will hold up the cross and say, we won them by the power of the cross. One of the mu'mineen will get mad and break that cross and say, we won them by the power of Allah or whatever, and they will kill this Muslim. And then there it is. Now the Kafirin may join together. Now they defeated that war. Now they'll be fighting back again. Now they're gathering themselves all together to fight the Muslimin. Okay, and this is when the big wars happen. Okay, so we see. Continue, ya Rihab. We're going to be reading these pages together because there will, it's a really long hadith telling that we can't just read half. Go ahead.
So you can see how powerful the Muslims will be at that time. They will fight, be victorious, collect booty, and return safely. You can see how strong their adherence to their religion will be. When that crusader raises the cross and claims that the victory which the Muslims helped to achieve was a victory for the cross, a Muslim will be moved by his protective jealousy towards his religion to get up and break the cross. The group of Muslims in that place will run for their weapons and will fight the Romans, despite the fact that they will be few in number in that place. The Messenger ﷺ testified that they would be martyrs and that Allah would honor them with martyrdom. That betrayal of the Romans and the subsequent events will be the cause of that great battle.
Yeah, continue الملحمة وفتح القسطنطينية, the great battle and the conquest of Constantinople, which is
A
Constantinople.
great,
Now, there's another
yeah.
hadith, before we start here, there's another hadith that says, referring to Constantinople, that there will be, okay, the reason of the sign, one of the signs of Khuruj al-Dajjal, the coming of the Dajjal, is taking back Constantinople. Now, Constantinople was described as a city, half of it on one side, and the other half of that city is on the other side of the ocean, and that actually describes the Constantinople. Okay, so that actually describes the Constantinople. Okay, half of it is on the Asian side, and the other half is on the European side, and that what makes Istanbul right now. If you ever went to Turkey in Istanbul, you can see, you can actually go through the Bosphor, the Dardanelles over there, and see how it's there. Now, what happens is, right now, most of the inhabitants of of Istanbul right now are actually foreigners, you know. So it will fall in the hands of the kafirin, but it won't be a falling of a military falling. Now, Recep Tayyip Erdogan right now, the shi'ar, how do I say, the words of his of the Muslimin in Turkey right now was Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. That's the words. And it's actually the same words in the hadith that it says that the way the Constantinople will come back to the Muslimin, that the Muslimin will stand up again after it falls in the hands of the kuffar after a while. You know, it could be elections. After it falls in the hands of the kuffar and ruled by the kuffar, the Muslimin will come out and yell, Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And then all of the cities stand up and say it all again. Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Just the same words as the people in Hizb al-Adala wa right now, in Erdogan's party right now. Okay? I'm not saying Erdogan is a prophet or he's something else, but what I'm saying is that we can be in that time, Allahu A'lam, in the same words that will be used, Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and the whole city will chant the same thing, and it will become Muslim again. This is a time to read this one. Yalla ya Rihab. Let's see what happens in Constantinople. When this happens, the Constantinople comes, then the Dajjal gets scared, then the Europeans get scared, and they tell the Dajjal, Yalla ya Dajjal, get out. Let's break this power of the Muslimin, and let's see what happens here. A great battle will take place between the Muslims and the Crusaders.
Okay. Just I have a question about Constantinople, if I can.
Go ahead.
So now it's Muslim, it's in Turkey, which is a Muslim country. And
Yeah,
then
but it's
if I
not ruled
understood
by,
well,
it's not ruled by a Muslim ruling.
okay, so it will become like a Muslim state, let's say.
No, not becoming a Muslim state. It will be ruled by Ilmanin, seculars, which is kuffar, you know. It will
Like
be
the
ruled
previous,
but it won't
like the,
be military controlling. Okay? Now, when the army of the Muslimin go from Sham, Palestine, and go up all the way, Istanbul will be already in the hands of the kuffar. Okay? And how will it come back in the hands of the mu'mineen? They will say, Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. People will be chanting, and then everyone will start chanting the same thing, and it will become Muslim back again. So it seems like it was a fath, you know, khalas. They break the siege on the city, and it becomes Muslim back again. And when they see that the Constantinople, which is Istanbul right now, that it is fallen, then khalas. If they had entered the other side of the ocean or the Mediterranean Sea, if they entered the other side of the city, it's just Istanbul, but it reads to the land of Europe, because the other side is actually in Europe. So this is Istanbul. Okay, where's my pen here? Okay. Actually, I prefer, let's instead of drawing, get you Istanbul on the map. Okay. Okay. Let's get Istanbul on the map here. Okay, I'm just trying to. طيب. خريطة اسطنبول. Okay. طيب. Okay, let's look at this one. يلا حبيبتي. Okay, this is Istanbul over here. Okay, we can see this is the Mediterranean Sea, and this is Istanbul over here. This is the Asian part, and this is the Europeans part. Okay, once they have crossed the other side, then khalas, you're on the land of Europe right now. This is a more clear picture. Khalas, once you cross, they put a bridge here, another bridge there. Once you cross on the other side, you're on the land of Europe, and actually for the army to just flow into Europe of the muslimin has become very easy. What's making a difference between the land of the muslimin and the land of the Europeans is actually this Mediterranean Sea. Once they cross it to the other side, then it's a matter of time that they go through all of Europe, you know? So this is what I'm trying to say. This is the Asian part, and this is the European part of Istanbul. Okay, so this is what they fear. So people here will be saying, Ya Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and then everyone will say it again. The real Muslimin in Istanbul will call upon that. Will there be a siege? Will the Muslimin besiege Istanbul, like have a siege around it? You know, but there won't be a battle here. There won't be a battle. Will it be besieged? Allahu A'lam what will happen, but it won't be a battle. It will go in the hands of the Muslimin by these chants by themselves. Okay? What's your question again, Ya Rihab?
Like would that mean that, but you said it's not military, so that means Istanbul, it will still be Istanbul, it will still be Turkish and all that, but it's just
Ruled
that
by
now
the
it's not very much Muslim. That's what you mean?
Right now, no place in the world is ruled by Islam. No place on earth. No place on earth is ruled by Islam. Tell me one place on earth where they rule by the Muslim Sharia. Probably a little bit in Afghanistan. Allahu A'lam what they're ruling right now. But where is the place that's ruled by Sharia? No place.
I understand.
All secular. Jordan secular. Palestine occupied. Lebanon secular. Syria, يعني حزب البعث, which is communist, also secular. Yeah, doesn't even have we don't even know what Syria is. Mixed
How
together.
about Saudi Arabia? How about Saudi Arabia?
Not even Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has certain areas when they have all these parties, what's that? And then when they call beer to be halal bars. Halal bars, halal alcohol. What's that?
Wow.
Halal alcohol. And when they turn into music and partying and everything into tarfih, entertainment. And literally in Saudi Arabia,
Ya Allah.
if you are weak, then they will whip you and do whatever, you know. But if you have a family name or whatever, if you have a position in the government, no one will touch you. That's called ruling Islam. That's not called ruling Islam. And right now, when Saudi Arabia and Emirat are leading faster than the Yahud. I mean, what did the Yahud talk about Saudi Arabia? They said they're even more Zionist than us. In order for Saudi Arabia to exist as Saudi Arabia, Saudi actually comes from a tribe called Saudis. There were two tribes, Al-Rashid and Al-Saudis. They were the ones that were fighting against taking over Saudi Arabia. al-Rashid was actually with the Khilafah Islamiyya of Uthmani Khilafah Uthmaniyya, and the Saudis stuck with the British, and they told them, hey, the British came to them, hey, Saudis, al-Saudi, I'm saying it in this way to be easier to understand. How about we give you weapons and we give you everything you need. You just kill al-Rashid, this other village that are, allies with the Khilafah Uthmaniyya, and then we give you weapons and everything. But on one condition, we'll make you guys even kings of Saudi Arabia. And we'll call it Saudi Arabia, according to your family name, Al Saud, But on one condition, you guys you have to accept that we build a national state for the Jews in Palestine, and that you will help us always that we let the Yahud build, migrate to Palestine, and everything that will help the migration of the Yahud to Palestine. And it's called Weizmann-Faisal Agreement. Let's see that agreement really fast here. Did I show it to you guys before?
Yes, Ustada, last class, I think.
Yeah,
Or
last
before.
class, or probably. Just a little, really fast. Weizmann, for the sister to see. Weizmann or Malik Faisal. Okay. Just really, really fast here. Okay. Not this one. اتفاقية فيصل ووايزمان. The agreement of Faisal and Weizmann to build a Jewish state. Okay, you guys can, okay, I'm gonna flip it to English, and you guys can, okay? There. You can do a screenshot for that one and then read it next time by yourself and see the agreement they made, to build a Jewish state. If you want to go down and see the main agreements down there, it will give you the main, points: building a Zionist Zionist state in Palestine, helping the immigration of the Yahud in Palestine in order to help, Al Saud. Faisal is actually one of the Saudis, before any of that. And who's Weizmann? He's the British, one of the British, government, how do I call it? Officials, he's one of those. So this is one, So are they ruling Islam? No, they're not. The wars that they are going against the Muslimin, they locked out all the ulama al-Muslimin, they've arrested them. They're they're praying for the Yahud, making dua for the Yahud, and making all of that. Yet they're again, and the word wala and bara, whatever you have wala too, they have they have wala to the Yahud. They're allies with the Yahud, and they say it clearly: we are allies with the Yahud, and we believe that the Yahud are better friends, and we wish the Yahud come and they literally say it, come and occupy us. You guys are beautiful. You have blue eyes and blonde hair, and it's a mess, صراحة, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're going to read about the Battle of Constantinople here with Sister. Any questions before we continue?
No, Jazakallahu khair, Ustada.
Yeah, okay. Do we know that the Mahdi is coming before the Dajjal, like one event? Yeah, we know the Mahdi is coming before the Dajjal, of course. The Mahdi will be coming before the Dajjal. He will be leading the wars, the great wars. All of those wars. Now, when will he be coming? In the middle, in the beginning? How is it going to happen? He's only going to sit there for 7-8 years doing his job. Okay. Will he die as a shaheed? What will happen to him? We don't know. We know he's going to lead the land. And we talked about Mahdi before. He'll be spreading adl, justice, and he will be pouring. He will be giving money, bunches and bunches of money for everyone. And land. He will tell you, oh, Sister Dahab, you take this village, the whole village. Okay, you might be saying, where's everyone? Well, there's so many shaheeds everywhere. that out of 100 people from a whole family, you only have one left. So it's a time when people will not even be happy with what they have got. Yani, and no one will be happy with the rizq that they get, with what they get. Khalas. And even the inheritance, there's a special ruling in Islam how to spread the inheritance, the will, the money, and that the people, when somebody passes away and dies, or shaheed, or whatever way he dies, that his money or his belongings, how his properties or whatever he owns, is spread in a certain way between his relatives. Okay? That will be removed because there is no one left to inherit nothing. And there are so many land and places where there is no one to inherit it. It belongs to a certain family, and all of this family was wiped out, as we see in Gaza right now. Doctors, lawyers, PhDs, everything like that. Whole building of 80 people, highly educated people, all gone. Each one of them might have a whole business. This one has stores. This one has, blocks of areas, all gone. Who's going to inherit all of those areas and everything? It's going to be given out to the people that are alive, that are left. But when you lose everything around you, you lose all your family, there's no meaning of you even getting all those inheritance. Khalas, you just lose. You just lose all of your passion for anything in life, not out of depression, but this is the fact. The mu'min knows that this life is not, we are not living this life for this life. We know that this life is the test for the life that is yet to come, for the akhirah. So even if you lose in this life so many things, and you see your opponents, you might be from the mu'mineen, and you have opponents that have been working against you, and you've lost so much against them, it's not going to be that long. Don't worry about it. Just be patient. It hurts in the beginning, but year by year, the pain becomes less, and the lesson is learned. And then the relief of, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has your reward in the akhirah becomes greater. Just always concentrate on the akhirah, that you will be getting it in the akhirah. I know saying it is easy, but once we know that we're in the signs of end of time and the nation's actually trembling down, the West is trembling down, even America, when they keep on saying if Trump wins, he's going to be the last president, and everything is, all of it's just a mess everywhere in the world. No families even feeling safe and raising their kids anywhere in the world right now. It is literally really, really difficult to live anywhere in the world and to raise families. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy on all of us. Does anyone have a question before we close up? I was going to read al-Malhama and Fath al-Qustantiniya, an opening of Qustantiniya, but I guess we'll finish that next time, inshallah ta'ala, because we have another class right now. Right? Am I on the right time? Yeah. We have another class.
Thank you so much, sister.
Allah yahfadhkum. You guys want to ask any questions,
I wish I could be more involved, but my kids are doing swim lessons. So I had to I wanted to listen to you though.
I hope they're enjoying their time.
They are. Swimming is great. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Allah yahfadhik ya Rabbi.
What is the next class that you have?
Okay, not for me, it's for Sister Aysha right now. She's going to be having a class. I think it's Hadith class. I think Pearls of Hadith, I think right now. She's always after my class. Okay, but for next time, we're going to be talking about the great wars that will be happening. And they are called under the name of Malhama, which means, the word Malhama means the butchery, actually means. And the word Malhama also comes from the attaching, is when the two wars, the two opponents, the Muslimin and the Crusaders, will be going into each other. The war will be so much harsh and so hard, that they have become skinned. Malhama comes from the root of lahm. And as much as your skin is so much attached to you, the two sides of this battle will be so much into each other and into this battle that they are stuck to each other, and it will be a very, very fierce war at the end of time. Why is he saying it? It's not like any war that we've heard before. Not World War I, not World War II. Okay? It's going to be a war that has never happened throughout history. You know those wars we've heard about, the Crusaders killing 100,000 here and 100,000? No, it's going to be more than that. And it doesn't, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam does not mention it unless it is something yet to be remembered and to be significant throughout history with its descriptions according to what is happening. Okay? And then what's going to happen about Malhama? Khuruj al-Malhama, the coming of the Malhama means the Dajjal coming. Okay? We finish the battle of the Malha, the Dajjal comes here, and we're going to be talking about that next time. And also talking about, continuing about the descriptions of the Dajjal. What does he do? His eye, how does it looks like? What it's written on his head? Him complaining to be God. What is his possibilities of him actually causing the fitna? You know, his very fast going through the land. Okay, is he like a jinn, for example? His Jannah and his nar, and his hellfire, his seeking refuge with the jinn and the shayateen, you know, and so many other things. What is his story with the mu'min from Medina that he tells him, you are the Dajjal that Rasulullah warned us about? What's going to happen in that one? And is he able to kill anyone else but him or not? What are really the fitan of the Dajjal? Okay, what are we supposed to do? Even if we become strong right now and we understand that those fitan are actually using technology and everything like that, and the technology that we see right now is something, imagine what they don't know, what we don't know about technology, you know? So can they be using that technology that they're hiding from everyone? Allahu alam. Most likely they are always surprising us with their evil. You know, so it's going to be about Dajjal for next time. So can we face the Dajjal and go after him and tell him, hey, you're the Dajjal, and act like we're going to be that movement from the Medina? No, we're not allowed to do that. You know, that's briefly. Okay. اوكي سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. نصيب ان شاء الله تعالى. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما اعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قدرت به وقضيت انك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم انا نستودعك ايماننا، نستودعك أنفسنا، نستودعك يا ربي قلوبنا. اللهم ما استودعت شيئا إلا حفظته. اللهم إنا نستودعك أخواتنا يا ربي وعائلاتهم، نستودعك أنفسنا وأمهاتنا وأخواتنا يا ربي وعائلاتهم وقلوبهم وإيمانهم. اللهم فاحفظهم عندك يا رب، فاحفظهم عندك يا ربي، واحفظ عليهم دينهم وإيمانهم يا رب العالمين، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا ردنا إليك ردا جميلا، ربنا ردنا إليك ردا جميلا، واعف عنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ما خفي وما علن، اللهم اغفر لنا ما خفي وعلن، واستر عنا واستر علينا وعلى أعراضنا وعلى بناتنا، واحفظهم وعصمنا وعصم أخواتنا يا ربي وأبناءنا وأبنائهم من الفتن ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم اصطفنا من خيرة خلقك واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أترككم برعاية الله وحفظه. In Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection and his safety, I leave you, and I seek refuge that he protects you and your families and protects their hearts, Ya Rabbil Alameen, from all this fitan that is yet to come, and give you, Ya Rabbi, the strength and the power to lead them and soften their hearts for Iman, Ya Rabbil Alameen, that they listen to the Iman and that they're surrounded by the Salihin. I would love to make more dua, but I think Sister Aysha is waiting for her class, so I would have to leave you and say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
ربي يحفظكم.
آمين.
الله يحفظكم. I think this is Noura. Aysha, is this Noura?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
It was Noura. I knew it was Noura.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like an undercover person, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.
وإياكم ربي يحفظك. ربي يحفظك.
Okay.